Good morning and welcome to Newsline. It's Thursday's edition, December 12, 2013. I'm Chalapansa Narula. Thanks for joining. In today's top stories, several foreign countries fear that the current political conflict in Thailand will escalate. But first, let's have a look at today's main headlines. Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn presided over the opening ceremony of the 4th Thai-Lao Friendship Bridge in the northern Thai district of Chiang Khong. Her Royal Highness arrived at Chiang Khong Hoi Sai Friendship Bridge on the Thai-Lao border. On hand to welcome Her Royal Highness were caretaker Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra and the caretaker Minister of Transport, who led the princess to an exhibition on the background of the bridge. Her Royal Highness then joined Lao Vice President Bunyang Warachit at the opening ceremony of the bridge. The construction of the new bridge have been supported by the Thai and Lao governments, the Asian Development Bank and the Chinese government, in the hope that the bridge would boost trade, investment and tourism among Thailand, Laos and China. Bilateral trade value through the Chiang Khong checkpoint in the first 9 months of this year increased by more than 30% to 12 billion baht, 9 billion baht from exports and 3 billion baht from imports. With the opening of the new bridge, Chiang Khong district hopes to experience higher growth in bilateral trade as well as a greater number of tourists next year. The acting Prime Minister's Secretary General Suranan Vechachiwa has insisted that the acting Premier will not resign ahead of the general elections. Mr. Suranan said acting Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra cannot concede to protest leader Suthep Thaugsuban's demand, which called for her immediate resignation. Ms. Yingluck is bound by Section 157 of the Constitution to remain as caretaker Prime Minister until the new election is held in February. The Secretary General urged Mr. Suthep to review his demands and to run for the election in a bid to resolve the situation in a democratic manner. He elaborated that the decision whether Ms. Yingluck will compete in the next election will be determined today at a party meeting. Several foreign countries fear that the current political conflict in Thailand will escalate while voicing support for the general election. Acting Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Surapong Towichakchaikul, who has recently been assigned by the interim Prime Minister to oversee the Centre for the Administration of Peace and Order, revealed that the international community had expressed its concerns over the political situation in Thailand, as several countries feared that the situation in Thailand would exacerbate. They also used the caretaker government to resort to peaceful means in settling differences with the protesters. They have voiced their support for the upcoming general election under the democratic system. The international community hoped that the election, which is scheduled for February 2nd next year, would go smoothly in order for Thailand to quickly restore peace and stability. Among the countries making the statement were the USA, Germany, New Zealand, Canada and China. Acting Deputy Prime Minister. Now, the Centre for the Administration of Peace and Order says that the police will carry out their duty as usual, while asserting that police will not serve the outlaws. CAPO spokesman, Police Major General Piya Utayo, has revealed that police forces would carry out their duty as usual to maintain law and order as the anti-government demonstrations were expected to prolong. He said there had been a number of reports on damaged properties caused by the protesters, including the government complex on Jang Watana Road. Asked for his comments on protest leader Suthep Thaugsuban's statements made yesterday, the spokesperson said the police, as law enforcers, could not accept or serve the outlaws, as the demonstrators had neither rights nor the authority to give orders. Mr. Suthep earlier demanded that police arrest caretaker Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra for treason because she did not meet the protesters' orders. The ex-Democrat executive also threatened to escalate demonstrations against the caretaker government. The Election Commission gave assurances that there will be no obstacles to the upcoming general election arising from the transition period between the current set of election commissioners and the new commission that will replace them. Election Commissioner Prapan Naikowit and other election commissioners had a meeting with the incoming commissioners on Wednesday discussing preparations for the upcoming general election. Mr. Prapan said afterwards that the transition period, the old and new commissioners would not cause problems towards holding the election. Mr. Prapan also revealed the EC will call a meeting of its election the administrating committee today before the election timeframe is officially announced. At present, the EC plans to register party list MP candidates during December 23rd till the 27th and constituency MP candidates during December 28th till January the 1st. The early voting date is planned for Sunday, January 26th, while the general election day is planned for Sunday, February 2nd, 2014. The number of seats up for grab in Bangkok's 50 districts will remain at 33. Over 48 million people will be eligible to vote in the upcoming election. The poll is expected to see a similar turnout as it did in the year 2011. The Constitutional Court has accepted a petition filed against the 2 trillion baht loan bill, which was previously approved by Parliament for infrastructure development. Constitutional Court spokesman Pimon Thampitakpong said the court agreed to consider petitions submitted separately by several MPs from the opposition Democrat Party and a group of senators on whether the loan bill is unconstitutional. Following the approval by the House of Representatives in September, the Senate on November 20th also passed a bill that would allow the Finance Ministry to borrow a 2 trillion baht fund to invest in infrastructure and transport system development. The bill is expected to help revitalize Thailand's declining economy. The Democrat Party and a group of senators accused that the government has railroaded the bill through Parliament, which might cause huge damage on the country in the form of corruption and increase in public debt to a dangerous level. As a consequence of the court's decision to accept the petitions, the government's submission of the bill for His Majesty the King's endorsement has been delayed. The European Union could ban Thai fruits after flies were found in guavas imported from Thailand. According to the Commerce Ministry, the EU has found fruit flies in guavas imported from Thailand. Now, this was the third time within a year that Thailand failed to meet the EU's quality standard requirements. The European Union only allows 5 mistakes per a one-year period, starting from the 1st of August 2013 to 1st of August 2014. If Thailand fails to meet the requirements 2 more times before August 1st next year, its fruit products to Europe will be suspended immediately. The EU has therefore asked the Thai exporters to be extremely careful when it comes to guavas, mangoes and rose apples. Furthermore, the EU has found pests in Thai vegetables and is on the brink of banning vegetables from Thailand. As a result, the Commerce Ministry will have to limit the quantity of exported vegetables to Europe until the one-year period ends. The period for Thai vegetable export is from the 14th of March till this year, obviously till the 14th of March next year. If the EU puts a ban on Thai vegetables, there will be a shortage of vegetables in the European market, causing the prices to increase, which will in turn force the importers to buy vegetables from elsewhere, like Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, Cyprus and also Spain. And we'll now take a break. Up next, the Ministry of Finance confirms the protesters' occupation of many government offices will not hurt this year's GDP growth. Stay with us.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติแล้วมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
Open the world of information. embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Acting Commerce Minister Niwatthamrong Bunsongpaisan has responded to rice farmers' complaints over delayed payment from the rice pledging scheme, saying that more funding has been approved. Mr. Niwatthamrong said after a meeting of the National Rice Policy Committee that payments owed from the 2013 to 2014 main crop are facing delay due to a massive backlog of payments for the year before. He added that the Cabinet has already approved 270 billion baht of budget for the pledging scheme. The second round of rice pledging this year during the off-season harvest will need to be endorsed by the new administration due to be elected next year. During yesterday's meeting, the committee also approved the 2013-2014 rice release in a bid to avoid overstocking this year. Rice farmers have threatened to block roads in 26 provinces if the government fails to hand out the money owed for the current harvest season. The Thai Rice Farmers Association president stated that most rice farmers have not been paid since October. The Ministry of Finance said the protesters' occupation of many government offices will not hurt this year's GDP growth, but will have a slight effect on the government's 2014 budget disbursement. Acting Permanent Secretary for Finance Rangsan Siwarasat said that the seizures of state offices would affect government spending, especially the disbursement of investment budget. This year's GDP growth, however, would be left unscathed. According to Kun Rangsan, the 2013 GDP growth rate is expected to stand at 3%. As for the ministry's economic stimulus measures during the government's caretaker period, they could be implemented if they were under the jurisdiction of the ministry. The measures which were related to government policy would be reviewed by the Election Commission first, since they might benefit some political parties in the next general election. The World Bank expects the Thai economy to slow down due to problems with the export sector, although it expects Thailand's GDP to expand at 4.7% next year due to the revival in the global economy.
During a speech at Chiang Mai University, Girida Paupijit, senior economist at the World Bank's Thailand office, said the global economy would recover slowly due to the slowdown of the Chinese economy and the volatility of fund flow. However, the economy of East Asia is expected to perform better than many other regions thanks to the expansion of the regional economy and the various cooperation agreements, such as free trade agreements and the ASEAN Economic Community. Ms. Girida asserted that the World Bank expects the growth of the Thai economy to slow down because of problems with exports. GDP growth is expected to be under 3.7% for 2013. However, this figure is forecast to improve to 4.7% next year on the back of the global recovery and other measures such as economic stimulant policies, state investments, lowered world oil prices, and the reduction of personal taxes.
The Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand is likely to increase the fuel tariff or FT rate on electricity use early next year by more than 10 satang per unit following the natural gas price rise. Chairman of the Energy Regulatory Commission, Direk Lawansiri, said the Commission would meet mid-December on electricity production costs before calculating a new FT rate. He still could not say how much the rate would increase, as there were many factors to consider apart from gas price and currency value. Nonetheless, it is expected that the FT rate for January to April 2014 will adjust up about 10 satang per unit due to the higher price of natural gas. The current price of liquefied natural gas is over $15 per cubic foot. Natural gas is the main fuel for power generation in Thailand. Its recent price increase resulted from higher oil price in the global market. Another factor affecting EGAT's rising cost is the weakening Thai baht from 31.24 baht to 32 baht against the US dollar. EGAT is trying to push for more use of coal for electricity production than liquefied natural gas in a bid to prevent the FT rate from rising too high. Nok Air, one of Thailand's budget airlines, has increased the number of weekly flights from Bangkok to the northern province of Phra to better serve the surging demand. The carrier will start flying between Bangkok and Phra every day or 7 flights a week on Wednesday. At present, it has only 4 flights a week in this particular route. According to Patra Anong Na Chiang Mai, the director of Tourism Authority of Thailand's Phra office, the popularity of Phra among locals and foreign tourists has continuously risen in recent years thanks to Phra's richness in culture, history and tourist attractions. Meanwhile, the province has successfully developed its facilities and hospitality sector in its bid to become the gateway to the north. The flight increase will help boost Phra's tourism and other related sectors, attracting more visitors to the province. The province is determined to double its GDP to 60 billion baht in 5 years' time. Thanks to the government's 2 trillion baht infrastructure plan, the dual-track rail system, which will be constructed in the near future, will better link Phra with other provinces further north. Southeast Asian stocks ended mostly weaker on Wednesday as players booked profits amid uncertainty about U.S. stimulus plan, pulling Malaysia off a record close set in the previous session, while Thai stocks posted modest gains on commodity stocks. The Thai SCT index edged up 0.1% in choppy trade, closing at 1,369.35 points, with shares of coal miner, Banpu and PTT exploration production among the top gainers, each climbing more than 3%. The looming political impact on domestic economy weighed on consumer and tourism-related stocks, sending food firm Charoen Pokapan Foods and carrier Thai Airways International each down more than 2%. The Bank of Thailand's Monetary Policy Committee felt that political tensions could keep hurting sentiment of the country when it surprisingly cut the policy interest rate at its November 27 meeting. Foreign investors offloaded a net 3.52 billion baht of Thai shares on Wednesday, adding to their net 47.8 billion baht selling over the past 13 straight sessions. And let's have a look at the exchange rate and also the commodity prices.
ป๊าเมื่อไหร่เราจะได้ข้าวเยอะๆสำหรับเลี้ยงครอบครัวเราล่ะป๊า
ไม่ต้องกังวลแล้วนะครับอันนี้คือข้าวเมล็ดพันธุ์ดีปลอดสารพิษตามพระราชดำริของพระองค์ท่านเพื่อฟื้นฟูนาล้างและเพิ่มศักยภาพของพื้นที่นาเดิมให้ได้ผลผลิตมากขึ้นนะครับ
เข้าใจเข้าถึงพัฒนา My Idol คนต้นแบบจังหวัดชายแดนภาคใต้โครงการประชาสัมพันธ์สนับสนุนการแก้ไขปัญหาในพื้นที่จังหวัดชายแดนภาคใต้กรมประชาสัมพันธ์
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. I'm Chalapansa Narula. According to the National Statistical Office of Thailand, or NSO, October's unemployment rate hit 237,000 people, representing 0.6% of the kingdom's employable workforce of 38.4 million. NSO Director General Vibuntat Suthantanakit said the number can be broken down into 12.8 million people in the agricultural sector, while 25 million are engaged in other sectors. He said that the number of unemployed people in October increased by 14,000 people from the same period of last year, although it was lower than that of September. Out of those unemployed, 90,000 have never been hired before, of whom 83,000 are university graduates. The southern region has the highest unemployment rate of 0.8%. Earlier, the Office of the National Economic and Social Development Board has reported that the economy in the third quarter is on the decline, prompting business operators to cut the number of jobs in their organizations, while an increasing number of new graduates are entering the market. These factors have caused employments much more difficult to find for newly graduated people. 300 blankets were given to Bungkan Border Patrol forces who are currently on duty during the cold season.
A group of housewives in Bungkan province traveled to Mueang district to present 300 blankets to border security forces, which included Field Army Troop 2103, Field Army Troop 2109, Mekong Riverine Operation Unit, and Border Patrol Police. The group then walked around to greet each unit and build morale among the officers, while expressing their concerns on the officers' health as the weather gets cooler and cooler every day. Meanwhile, the Meteorological Department predicted that the temperature would drop 6 to 8 degrees Celsius during December 11th till the 16th, while warning motorists to be aware of thick fog when traveling in the morning.
The 27th Southeast Asian Games, or SEA Games, has officially kicked off in Myanmar after a grand opening ceremony held in Naypyidaw yesterday. Myanmar yesterday held a grand opening ceremony of the 27th SEA Games. The ceremony was celebrated in Naypyidaw with impressive visual effects and joyous emotions. The ceremony saw more than 6,000 athletes and officials stride into the 30,000-seat Wanatikdi Stadium as they marched in front of the Myanmar President Thein Sein. The 4-hour event featured parades, fireworks, singers, dancers, and a light and sound show. The 27th SEA Games is the largest sporting event Myanmar has played host to since 1969. SEA Games is a biannual multi-sport event involving participants from 11 countries from Southeast Asia. The first SEA Games, originally known as the Southeast Asian Peninsula Games, was first held in Bangkok in 1959, where more than 527 athletes participated back then.
Wow.
All right, and that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to send in your comments or suggestions, please email to us, newsline.nbt@gmail.com. Saying goodbye today, we'll be taking you to Pa Mo E Dang, which is located in Sisakhet province, to check out the beautiful scenery out there. I'm Chalapansa Narula. See you tomorrow. Sawadee ka.